everybody. So our Bigfoots, we use marine grade plywood. One side of it is pretty good. You don't have to do much filler or anything like that. We use Famo wood. I actually did a search on YouTube and watched a bunch of videos till I came across what seems to be the very best. It's a polyester, so it's waterproof. And one of the things that the guy brought up was spreadability. So I found he's right. This one works the best. It's not the cheapest, but it certainly is outstanding stuff. Spreads really well. And I'm going to show you, sands pretty well. Again, marine grade plywood is pretty good on one side. Don't need to do much. But the other side normally has knots and maybe even separations in the plies and stuff like that. So I put it on the night before, and then the next day it's good and dry. It says it takes like 15 minutes, but it usually takes a little bit longer. Sometimes I'll stick it out in the sun, out on the patio. I say patio, out on my cement pad. And I know everybody always wants to get on me about safety and I'm not using a mask. I'm outside, there's a breeze out here and it's blowing all the dust away. Anyhow, the next step after this is to just take sandpaper and do the edges. I usually use 100 grit to remove the excess body filler, I guess you call it, or wood filler. And then I'll take and round off all the edges so that the paint will stick better. Paint always sticks better to a rounded edge than to a sharp edge. So you always want to take the edge off. And anyhow, I'll show you that next step shortly. All right, so the next step and the last step before we paint is I want to take off all the edges, like I said, because paint sticks better to a rounded edge. I just get our sandpaper sheets in the discs because it's easier. I fold them and use them. I get them on Amazon. It's like $20. And I've checked with all of our different suppliers. Nobody seems to be able to do better pricing on the sandpaper. So again, I use 100 grit because it works pretty quick. I'll go around it. And if you can't see, I'm got my sandpaper at an angle. The first thing I do is take off the sharp edge. Turn it over, do the same thing. I'm moving my hand around, making sure that edge is rounded off. My hands are pretty tough from years of doing this. Most of you guys will want to be more careful because you guys probably are like keyboard warriors, I call you, or I'm not going to use the S word. So make sure that you probably wear gloves if you don't have tough old man hands, because when you're going at an angle like that, you can easily get splinters. I never get splinters. My hands are like leather now. But take off all the rounded edges. Be careful not to get splinters. Your hand is the best tool you possibly have. So rub your hand along the edge. Look, I just found a spot. Make sure that you take off anything that could be like a splinter, because your customer will find it, I guarantee you. And my wife will find it with her soft, girly hands when she is packing these things up. So again, rub your hand along the edges. You don't want anybody to get splinters. That'd be like the worst thing, especially if it's a gift or something. Plus it looks kind of like unprofessional and unfinished. So I just rub my hand around all the edges. That's the last thing I do. And that piece is ready to be painted.